Everyone's telling you AI is coming for your job, and honestly, a lot of that is true. I've covered it extensively on this channel, and the data doesn't lie. But here's what nobody's talking about. There are 5 categories of work that AI fundamentally cannot do. Not in 2026, not in 2030, probably not ever. And if you or someone you love works in one of these fields, you need to hear this. Because while everyone else is panicking, refreshing LinkedIn at 2 in the morning, wondering if their position is about to be eliminated, you might be sitting in the safest seat in the entire American economy and not even realize it. Before I get into the 5 jobs, I want to give you the framework. Because once you understand why these jobs are safe, you'll be able to evaluate any job, yours included, and know where it stands. Think of it as 3 tests. The first is the hand test. Does this job require human hands physically interacting with the real world in environments that are messy, unpredictable, and constantly changing? If yes, AI has a massive problem. Because AI lives in the digital world, it processes data, it recognizes patterns, it generates outputs on a screen. But it doesn't have hands, it doesn't have a body. And even the most advanced robotics we have today can't do what a skilled human being can do in a physical environment that's never the same twice. The second is the heart test. Does this job require genuine human connection, not simulated empathy? Not a chatbot saying, "I understand your frustration." Real, authentic human presence. The kind where another person looks you in the eyes and you feel something. If the job depends on that, AI can't touch it. Because AI can mimic the language of empathy. It can say the right words, but it cannot feel. And in certain jobs, the feeling is the entire point. The third is the chaos test. Does this job take place in environments that are unpredictable, dangerous, constantly shifting, and impossible to simulate with data? Environments where you need a human brain and a human body making split-second decisions based on things that have never happened before in exactly that way? If yes, AI is basically useless. Hands, heart, chaos. If your job involves all 3, you're not just safe, you're about to become more valuable than you've ever been. Let me show you the 5. Number 1. Skilled trades. Electricians, plumbers, HVAC technicians. These are the workers who keep America running, and I mean that literally. Without them, your lights don't turn on, your water doesn't flow, and your house is either freezing or 100 degrees. And AI cannot do what they do. Here's why. Every single house is different. Every building is different. Every problem is different. An electrician doesn't walk into a job and follow a script. He walks into a house built in 1974 with wiring that some previous homeowner modified without a permit, behind walls that have been drywalled over 3 times, in a crawl space that's 18 inches tall and full of insulation. And he has to figure out what's wrong, why it's wrong, and how to fix it without burning the house down. That requires physical dexterity, spatial reasoning, real-time problem solving, and years of accumulated judgment that no AI system can replicate. Because AI needs data and patterns, and every house is its own unique puzzle that has never existed before in exactly that configuration. On top of that, the demand for skilled tradespeople is going up, not down. The existing workforce is aging out. The average electrician in America is in his mid-40s, and there aren't enough young people entering the field to replace the ones who are retiring. The housing market, despite all its ups and downs, continues to need new construction, renovation, and maintenance. The Bureau of Labor Statistics projects 6% job growth for electricians through 2032, which is faster than the average for all occupations. And the money is real. An experienced electrician in a major metro area can earn between $60,000 and $90,000 a year. In some markets, well over 6 figures, with no college debt, no student loans, no 4 years spent studying something that may or may not lead to a job. You do an apprenticeship, you learn on the job, you build a skill that nobody can automate, and you go home every night knowing that no software update is coming for your career. Number 2, healthcare workers, specifically nurses, physical therapists, and surgeons. And I want to be really precise about why, because people get confused on this one. They hear that AI can diagnose diseases, which is true. They hear that AI can read medical images better than some radiologists, which is also true. And they conclude that healthcare is being automated. It's not, because diagnosis is only one piece of what healthcare workers do, and it's not even the most important piece. A nurse doesn't just read charts and administer medications. A nurse walks into a room and immediately reads the situation. Is the patient in more pain than they're admitting? Is the family member in the corner about to have a breakdown? Is something about this patient's color or breathing pattern slightly off in a way that doesn't show up on the monitors yet, but 20 years of experience says something is wrong? And beyond all of that clinical judgment, A nurse holds a terrified person's hand at 3 in the morning when they've just been told they have cancer and they don't know what to do. AI cannot do that. A chatbot cannot sit at the bedside of a dying man and give his wife the kind of comfort that comes from another human being who understands what this moment means. Right now, there are over 200,000 unfilled nursing positions in the United States. 200,000. The country is desperately short of nurses, and that shortage is projected to get worse, not better, as the population ages and more people need care. If you're a nurse, you are one of the most valuable workers in America right now, and that's not changing. Physical therapists work with their hands on human bodies that are injured, recovering, or deteriorating. Every patient is different. Every body responds differently. A physical therapist watches how you move, feels the tension in your muscles, adjusts their technique in real time based on how you're responding, and builds a relationship with you over weeks and months that is itself part of the healing process. No robot is doing that. Not now. Not in any meaningful time frame. And surgeons. Yes, AI is making surgery better. Robotic surgical systems allow for greater precision. AI tools help with surgical planning and imaging. But the surgeon is still the one making the decisions. The surgeon is still the one whose judgment and experience determine whether a patient lives or dies when something unexpected happens on the table. AI is a tool for doctors. It makes good doctors better. It does not replace the need for doctors. And anyone who tells you otherwise doesn't understand what happens in an operating room. Number 3, emergency first responders, firefighters, EMTs, police officers. These are people who run toward chaos while everyone else runs away. And chaos is the one thing AI handles worst. A firefighter arrives at a burning building. The structure is compromised. The smoke is so thick you can't see 2 feet in front of you. There's a report of a child on the 2nd floor. Every second matters. The firefighter has to assess structural integrity by feel, by sound, by instinct built over years of training and experience. They have to navigate a physical environment that is actively trying to kill them. They have to make decisions in seconds that have life or death consequences. And then they have to physically carry a human being out of that environment. No robot on Earth can do that. No AI system can replicate the combination of physical strength, situational awareness, courage, and real-time judgment that a firefighter uses every single time they enter a burning building. EMTs arrive at a car accident. There are multiple victims. The scene is chaotic. Bystanders are panicking. The EMT has to triage, treat, and transport while managing the emotional state of everyone around them. They're making medical decisions in the back of a moving ambulance while simultaneously keeping a scared patient calm enough to cooperate with treatment. This is hands, heart, and chaos all at once. Every single call. And here's what's interesting about first responders. These are jobs that actually benefit from AI without being threatened by it. AI can improve dispatch systems, routing ambulances faster based on real-time traffic data. AI can provide predictive tools that help fire departments identify buildings at higher risk. AI can analyze crime data to help police allocate resources more effectively. The technology makes first responders better at their jobs. It does not make first responders unnecessary. And that's the distinction that matters. Some jobs are enhanced by AI. Other jobs are eliminated by AI. First responders are firmly in the enhanced category. Number 4. Skilled construction and infrastructure workers, welders, crane operators, heavy equipment operators, iron workers, the people who build the physical world around you. Every road you drive on, every bridge you cross, every building you walk into exists because a human being with specialized skills built it, and AI is nowhere close to replacing them. Construction is the ultimate chaos environment. Every job site is different, the terrain is different, the weather changes, materials arrive damaged or late. Subcontractors don't show up. Underground conditions turn out to be completely different from what the soil reports predicted. A welder working on a high-rise is making real-time decisions about joint integrity, heat application, and material behavior in conditions that are affected by wind, temperature, vibration, and 100 other variables that no simulation can perfectly predict. A crane operator is moving multi-ton loads hundreds of feet in the air, making constant micro-adjustments based on wind gusts, load sway, and ground conditions, while coordinating with a team of people on the ground through hand signals and radio calls. One wrong move and someone dies. That requires a level of physical skill, spatial awareness, and real-time human judgment that is simply beyond what any current or near-future AI system can handle. And the demand is staggering. The federal infrastructure bill committed $1.2 trillion to rebuilding America's roads, bridges, airports, rail systems, water systems, and broadband networks. $1.2 trillion. That money is flowing into projects right now, and the number one constraint on getting those projects done is not funding, it's labor. there aren't enough skilled construction workers to do the work. While white-collar office workers are refreshing LinkedIn and worrying about whether AI is going to take their job, construction companies can't hire fast enough. They're offering signing bonuses. They're raising wages. They're recruiting people straight out of high school and training them because the need is that urgent. If you're a young person trying to figure out what to do with your life and you don't want to spend 4 years in college accumulating debt for a degree that might lead to a job that AI can do, I would seriously encourage you to look at the skilled trades in construction. The money is good, the demand is real, and the robots aren't coming for you. Number 5, mental health professionals and social workers, therapists, counselors, clinical social workers, the people whose entire job is human connection. I talked to ChatGPT about this in a previous video. I asked it to rate itself on its ability to do a therapist's job. It gave itself a 3 out of 10. And its explanation was one of the most honest and insightful things I've heard an AI say. It said it could provide information about therapeutic techniques. It could suggest coping strategies based on research, but it said it cannot form a genuine therapeutic alliance, which is the clinical term for the relationship between a therapist and a client that is itself the primary driver of healing. It said the experience of being truly seen and understood by another human consciousness is something it cannot replicate because it does not have consciousness. That's the truth, and it matters more right now than it ever has. We are in the middle of a mental health crisis in this country. Post-pandemic, rates of anxiety, depression, and substance abuse have skyrocketed. Demand for therapists and counselors has never been higher. Wait lists in many areas are months long. There simply aren't enough mental health professionals to meet the need. And here's what no amount of technology can change. People don't want an algorithm to understand their trauma. They don't want a chatbot to help them process their grief. They don't want to type their deepest fears into a text box and get a response generated by a language model trained on internet data. They want to sit across from another human being who has their own experiences, their own struggles, their own understanding of what it means to be alive and in pain, and they want that person to look at them and say, "I hear you. I understand. We're going to work through this together." That is something AI will never do, not because the technology isn't advanced enough, but because the value of therapy is inseparable from the humanity of the therapist. You can't automate the human part out of a job where the human part is the entire product. Social workers operate in the same space. They work with families in crisis, with children in dangerous situations, with people navigating systems that are confusing and overwhelming. The job requires home visits, courtroom appearances, face-to-face interactions with people in the most vulnerable moments of their lives. It requires judgment calls that carry enormous consequences. Should this child be removed from this home? Is this person a danger to themselves? What does this family need right now that no form or database can tell you? These are decisions that require human wisdom, human presence, and human compassion, and no AI is making those calls. So here's the big picture. Look at all 5 of these categories and notice the pattern. Every single one of them involves hands, heart, and chaos. Physical presence in unpredictable environments combined with genuine human connection and real-time judgment that can't be reduced to a pattern or a formula. Skilled trades. You need your hands in spaces that are never the same twice. Healthcare. You need your heart in moments that define people's lives. Emergency response. You need to function in chaos that would overwhelm any system. Construction. You need your body and your brain on job sites that change by the hour. Mental health. You need your humanity in conversations where humanity is the medicine. If your job has all 3 of those elements, physical presence, human connection, and unpredictable environments, you are not just safe from AI. You are about to become more valuable than ever. Because as AI takes over the screen-based, pattern-based data processing work that millions of Americans currently do, the jobs that remain will be the ones that require everything AI lacks, and the people who do those jobs will command a premium that reflects their irreplaceability. Now, if your job is the opposite of that, if your day looks like sit down at a screen, type on a keyboard, process some data, generate a report, send some emails, and repeat, I'm not saying panic, but I am saying prepare. Because the same forces that are making these 5 job categories safer are making screen-based knowledge work more vulnerable. And the window for preparation is open right now, but it won't stay open forever. Which of these 5 surprised you the most? Tell me in the comments. I'm genuinely curious because every time I cover this topic, the responses teach me something about what people are thinking and feeling about this shift. If you're in one of these fields, I'd love to hear your perspective from the inside. And if you're not, and you're wondering where you stand, tell me that too. If you learned something from this video, subscribe. I cover AI and the future of work every single week so that you never get caught off guard by a headline that should have been a warning. Knowledge is the difference between being prepared and being blindsided, and I'd rather you be prepared. I'll see you in the next one.